She's from El Salvador. She's a dating back to 2005. And how exactly did this woman get a gun? I would like to know. If someone could tell me how she legally purchased a gun, because it's obviously illegal. I'm looking into more details here, but we're not getting a lot. I mean, here's a local KHOUW.
Now at 5 o'clock, we have new video inside Lakewood Church during yesterday's deadly shooting.
What we are learning about the shooter, the victims, and the investigation.
Also tonight, new details about the shooting at Lakewood Church yesterday afternoon that left an armed woman dead and her young child fighting for his life.
Police say a Conroe woman was shot and killed after walking into Lakewood Church with her son and opening fire.
Today, police confirming the identity of the shooter as Genesee Yvonne Moreno, and the child who was shot was her 7-year-old son. Police say Moreno opened fire in the west side hallway of the church before being killed by 2 off-duty officers.
Our KHOU 11 news crews have been...
So she killed her. You heard them before, right? They're not immediately willing to rush to a hate crime, but that's where it's gonna end up, because we have every single blueprint of like how this is like the archetype of what we can get like a right winger to hate, like a migrant who's with a free Palestine sticker on her fucking rifle. There's more to this. There's more to this too, because it keeps changing, and this is still relatively new. So, like, I mean, obviously, we're still finding out more details. But if this ends up being, I mean, you heard them. They were already like, no, we're ready. This might be terrorism. Apparently, she had ways to make. She had ingredients to make a bomb. Now, do you see where this is going? Oh man, I wish I prepared this before, but I was gonna pull up something that Trump said, but let's watch the Houston mayor himself, speak on this. And you tell me, you read his facial expressions, you tell me how this goes.
To report on a tragedy that occurred just before 2 o'clock at Lakewood Church as they were in between services. I'll leave the details of the first responders' reaction in a timely fashion to the Chiefs Fenner and Chief Pena. I want Houstonians and surrounding communities to know that the first responders are doing their job in protecting the public, Houstonians, and surrounding communities. I also want everyone to know that this is a perfect example of the collaboration between departments. It's exactly what we've been calling for. HPD, constables. I could just go through a list of multiple agencies representing their agencies in a very responsive way. We want to
where was the records dating back to 2005 when you were selling this woman a gun? That'd be nice to know.
Condolences to Reverend Osteen and his congregation. It's unfortunate on a day that we want to attend.
Joel Osteen, does that ring any alarm bells yet? Joel Osteen's church?
Watch America's #1 sports event. We find ourselves gathered here to respond to this tragedy. We want Houstonians to know that they are being protected by their first responders. We want to thank the Houston Fire Department for their quick response, the medical profession who is tending to one of the injured. So, as mayor of the city of Houston, I want to assure everyone that everyone...
So Orca, one of the only people that she killed was her own kid, her own 7-year-old kid. That's a hate crime? Okay.
Is at work doing their job. Let's come together on this beautiful day, a day that we're experiencing a tragedy. Let's hug our loved ones. When you leave here today, go hug your loved ones and say a prayer for those that are involved. Say a prayer for those officers that had to drop this suspect. They're suffering right now. And all these other first responders that I'm surrounded by, they're doing their job so we can be safe. At this time, let me yield to our police chief, Troy Finner.
Thank you, Mayor. Like the mayor said, and I think the most important message, before I get into details, is talk about the resiliency of our great city. And we worship together, we cry together, but we rebuild together. This is a tragic day, but you watch how we stand together. No suspect or suspects will tear down our...
So let me get this straight. No one is going to ask why she was sold a gun with a criminal record. Not even that. A migrant with a criminal record. Where's the press?
Our city and our places of worship. Pastor Osteen is standing with us and all of our partners. And I want to thank them all, our local, our state, our federal partners. I just want to give some detail here, but pray for everybody that's involved. The victims who I'll discuss here and the unsaid victims. Those individuals that came here to worship today and had to witness this. But rest assured, in this city, we're going to stand strong and we're going to move forward. So approximately at 1:53 p.m., a female, approximately 30, 35 years old, entered the property on the west side here in the parking lot of Lakewood Church. She entered the building. She was armed with a long rifle and a trench coat with a backpack, accompanied by a small child, approximately 4 to 5 years old. Once she entered, at some point she began to fire. I want to compliment the off-duty officers who were working extra employment here. One TABC agent, 4 years of service, 38 years old. An HPD off-duty officer, 28 years old, 2 years of service. Both officers, officer and agent, engaged, striking the female. She's deceased here on the scene. Unfortunately, the 5-year-old kid was hit and is in critical condition at our local hospital. That was a 57-year-old man who didn't have anything to do with it, I don't think. Was shot in the leg. He's seeking treatment in the hospital. So let's all pray for each and every one of them. Once she went down, officers reported back to us that she threatened, that she had a bomb. So we searched her vehicle, our bomb squad.
Okay, who said that? Do you see how easy it could be just like implanted in, especially the Houston police? We just had, if someone can remind me of the other Texas shooting that happened last year, that was also really fishy because the cops never showed. Uvalde. Fucking Texas, man. You don't think they're paid off? They're dude. To throw like a little curveball, I wouldn't doubt it. I really wouldn't.
And also the backpack. No explosives were found, but she was also spraying some type of substance on the ground. So HFD came and our chief would speak briefly on that. But again, we're going to stand strong. Again, I want to commend those officers. She had a long gun, and it could have been a lot worse. But they stepped up and they did their job. And I want to thank them for that. As you know, when an officer's involved in a shooting, we conducted a criminal investigation, Harris County District Attorney's Office, and also both agencies conduct administrative investigations. That will take place. Both of these officers the officer and the agent will be placed on administrative duty. But again, let's pray for everybody. And we stand strong here in Houston. I'll pass it on right now. Let me say this too. Places of worship. That's what they are. And that's what they will remain in our city. So it's just an opportunity for us to refocus and make sure that we all look out for one another. There will be increased patrols and a lot of conversation in our command posts with our federal partners and our local partners. But we're going to increase those patrols in and around those religious institutions. And it doesn't matter which faith. We love everybody here in our city, and everybody's important.
Why at a church, a Christian church?
So let me pass it on to Fire Chief Pena.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you, Mayor. First of all, let me thank all the agencies that are here with us. This is really a team effort, and our prayers are with, and our positive thoughts are with the injured and with the officers that engaged this suspect. It's traumatic not only for our community, but it's certainly traumatic for the officers who've had to take a life, and we worry about their mental health as well. So our prayers are with them, and we're going to give them whatever support they need to ensure that they are able to manage through this incident safely. Kudos to the first responders. The Houston Fire Department, Police Department was here within minutes. We are now dealing with consequence management of this incident. Now that the threat has been neutralized, we are going to take our time to ensure that any issues, any risks that we see.
There was a lot going on here. There was just a whole lot going on here that just didn't seem to. So there was even a live broadcast happening.
Con diagonal 2024. Repito. Junto con
a little bit more footage. It's no sound, but so we obviously need to know a lot more. Transgender too. That's another pin in the coffin for the right wing. Do you understand how this was perfectly crafted? Like this was like a character made by the FBI. It's literally like a create your own false flag. It's like if I worked in the FBI and tried making my own appeal to the right, because I feel like there's an understanding that there's a shift in power going on, and that liberals, aka the Democratic Party, are not like super into the whole Israel thing, but it would be incredible if I lost my train of thought there, but you can hear it here.
Good afternoon. My name is.
If this was real, that'd be like. We deserve better psyops. We really do. I've always been saying this though. Why do we need to do this? And so now, do you understand why now it's important to screen cap headlines? Always screen cap headlines. Because they can change in a matter of hours. Look at this. Free Palestine, written on a gun and shooting in Lakewood Church, but motive a mystery. So, as opposed to Lakewood shooting, then it becomes a sticker with anti-Semitic writings recovered. So this is important. Writing it on the rifle itself. I don't know how you would do that. Depending on what, like lead or whatever you're deciding to. I guess chalk, marker, whatever it is. A sticker can be very easily placed, and is way more easier to slip in last minute than it is to write anti-Semitic statements. But no one should take any of this seriously. I don't think any of this is real. This smells of like a completely manufactured story from the dark. This sniffs of every single like false flag that you could possibly imagine. And I'm not gonna make certain statements, especially not on YouTube. And I'm not going Sandy Hook level where, like I'm not saying it never happened. I'm just saying it's very easy to get people, especially if you're the FBI, And especially if you have a criminal record and fines over your head, and they can make these people do anything like that, and they don't care because they're getting out of, either a jail sentence or possibly even death. Who knows? This is a migrant. Well, technically, I mean, they're here, they've been here, but he's from El Salvador with with a huge criminal record. So why Joel Osteen's church? I don't really know, but here's him speaking on it.
Well, first off, thank Chief and the Mayor and Chief Pena and all of these men and women did an amazing job. And it's just, you said it, Chief, it could have been a lot worse. Of course, we're devastated. I mean, we've been here 65 years and have somebody shooting in your church. But, we don't understand why these things happen, but we know God's in control. And we're going to pray for that little 5-year-old boy and pray for the lady that was deceased, her family and all, and the other gentleman. But I don't know, it's just kind of in a fog, but, just believe that, we're going to stay strong. We're going to continue to move.
Now, let me ask you guys a question. I'm going to start from the beginning real quick. Now, I'm going to play this without sound. Does this look like a man who just experienced a mass shooting in his church? Look at his facial expressions and look at the way that his mouth moves. Does this look like a man who just had a shooting in his church? He's so spirited by God. He just has the holy love of Christ in him, right?
The forces of God are stronger than that. Yes. So we're going to keep going strong and just, doing what God's called us to do, lift people up and give hope to the world. Again, I want to thank all these gentlemen because, I can only imagine if it would have happened during the 11 o'clock service. We were in between services going into the Spanish service. So, if there's anything good of it, you know what, she didn't get in there and do a whole lot worse damage. So we thank God for that. He's watching over all of us. And as the Chief says, we're going to keep going strong and bringing hope to the world. But thank you again, gentlemen.
Thank you, Pastor.
And I mean, if you're looking for a motive, if you're looking for an Israel connection, it's not hard to find.
At your office, and we love you, we appreciate you, and really thank you for all that you do.
Well, thank you, and it's good to.
This is only a year ago. So you're telling me this man, it doesn't even, it's not even as far as a year. It goes farther than that. Osteen has his roots back to a trip back from in 2011. This is what Christian Zionism does to you. It's a brain infection. It's actually sort of a death cult. So, like, what they actually believe, like the super, Orthodox Christians, like they believe that, like, literally the Jews have to go to Bethlehem and go like die in like a massive apocalypse, and then like the second coming of Christ. They literally believe in like Armageddon. It's a death cult, just straight up death cult. They believe in Armageddon. That's their whole ideology. And I mean that's. So really, let me ask you guys a question: if she supposedly had this Free Palestine sticker on her rifle, right? Why would she be shooting up a Christian church? If this was an anti-Semitic or like a racist charged attack, then where is the evidence for that? It would be nice to know. This whole situation is really confusing, man. I can't imagine a more manufactured story. That's what I'm saying. Like, it feels so fake that your alarm bells start to go off, and just, Israel being the genocidal terrorist state that it is, genuinely has a large history of false flags. I don't have to name them, a lot of them for you. I mean, 9/11 just one of them, but USS Liberty. There's plenty of examples to point out of a long history of Israel's false flags. And like from that religious aspect, it doesn't make any sense at all for Muslims and Christians to like, let's say like this was in the like defense of like Islam or something. It doesn't really make much sense. So like the reason why Muslims and Christians tend to are actually tend to be closer together because like A they don't kill each other, and B Jesus Christ is actually the most quoted prophet in the Quran, and he's like very heavily respected. They just don't believe in like the whole like resurrection thing, and like or no, I think they do, but they don't believe like he's like literally the Son of Christ. It's a hard complication to explain, but this is kind of why. This is kind of you'll hear it here.
The greatest danger in the world is if Esav and Yishmael ever came together, if they ever united. Says the Gra, if Edom and Yishmael ever united, they would destroy the world. You can never mix Cain and Hevel together. When Cain and Hevel come together, they destroy the world. Esav is Cain and Yishmael is Hevel.
This is why the Jewish lobby needs to buy out the evangelical Christians, because you buy the right wing and then you buy all
times in history, Edom and Yishmael get together, and those were the two most dangerous moments in the collective history of the Jewish people. So that is why the Rebbeinu Shalom does us a big favor. He makes sure that Ad Hayom, Edom and Yishmael never get together. And that's why we wish both of these ummahs in their war against each other, bracha v'hatzlacha. My message to both of them is we wish both of them tremendous hatzlacha. They should wipe each other out. No, none of them should be saved. Both sides should mamish be matzliach as much as possible. We wish both sides tremendous hatzlacha in their avodah of wiping out the other party.
Yeah. It gets kind of bad like that. So like the reason why it's specifically the Torah is usually good. It's the Talmud where they really kind of get, and I don't have to even like pull up the videos of like them like spitting on Christians or whatever. It's just like a very like toxic like environment. I don't understand like why we need to like plenty of these religions coexisted peacefully for many thousands of years, and I don't know why people seem to really they have a trigger in the name of God. That's they believe in some sort of like pure ethno state. It's a sort of you are just a simple goyim. We're all just goyim, or unless you're Jewish, then you're blood libel. You're still anti-Semitic, even if you're Jewish. If you're watching this right now, you're probably anti-Semitic, even if you're Jewish. That's why I'm saying, fair warning.